let's begin. Now, pass the finance bill in order to allow me fix Uhuru Kenyatta's economic mess. Now, that was a statement that was made by the president while he was in Kakamega County. Definitely that forms the basis of our conversation today on yet another episode of the Candid Talk here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. Such a pleasure that you've joined us for this conversation. My name is Evan Sokini. As usual, I'm joined by Professor Herman Manyora. How are you, sir?
Good. Yes.
Definitely, ladies and gentlemen, if at all you're watching us for the first time, please kindly subscribe to our channel here. And of course, just tune in for some of the programs that we'll be bringing your way here. Of course, you know, Jadel Kabiro will always be here with political conversations, as well as our very own Richard Mwenja with the Siasa Brigade and Business Glide at large. Now, let's get into it. The president was in the Mudavadi, Musale Mudavadi backyard there in Kakamega County, definitely talking to people there in attending a church service. And as usual, we know very well that the finance bill debate is not yet over. It's supposed to go for another reading tomorrow. And we are actually waiting to see what will actually happen. But then the president has continued telling the members of parliament to help him pass this bill to fix the kind of economic mess. Now, what actually intrigued me is the mention of Uhuru Kenyatta's economic mess in every kind of forum that these people get. What is it that is happening with these people? We are fixing the mess of Uhuru Kenyatta. Isn't there any better way through which the government can sell its agenda without drawing the previous administration into the picture?
You know, if I make reference to some mess from my predecessor when I take over office, whatever it is, it must mean the mess is visible, is significant, but above all, it must also mean you can put names to the mess. So this many months after Ruto took over, he hasn't identified for us a specific mess, ndio hii hapa, which I'm fixing because of Uhuru Kenyatta. Secondly, even where they have attempted to mention a few things Uhuru and his ministers did, like in 16 minutes or in, I don't know, 26 minutes, moving 15 billion in sacks, Wilson Airport, in some... They haven't arrested one man. One, and they are in power, and the Ruto is the commander-in-chief of the Defense Forces of Kenya, as he keeps telling us. One man or woman has not been arrested and arraigned in court. They painted a picture of a country under state capture, and they said they were going to set a commission as a matter of priority to deal with state capture. They have since scattered over it and
So state capture is no longer
then why don't you stop talking about the mess? Just work, because there's no mess. If there was mess, you could identify it for us. This is the mess by Uhuru Kenyatta, and this is what we are so far doing about it. And this is the theft that has put the country on its knees. Former minister so and so, he moved 7 billion from here to Nachukua. We have put him in jail. This one we have arrested, standing trial. This one we have gone to his residence and recovered 10 billion. This one we have done an audit trail, and we have seen how he moved money from Kenya to Dubai to Switzerland and what have you. We are seeking the support of Interpol and those host countries to repatriate back the money. If a government can't do anything and they keep complaining, I get very disappointed. Yeah.
So for you, you believe that perhaps some bit of action would surface?
Yes, these are just excuses. This is just noise from the administration. Noises and excuses because they can't deliver. When you can't deliver in very specific areas that you promised, you look for excuses. And there can be no better excuse than Uhuru Kenyatta. They used Uhuru Kenyatta to win presidency. They want to use Kenyatta to get away with the inefficiency and their inability to deliver, which is very bad. Yeah. I would advise them to leave Kenyatta alone and deliver to the people of Kenya. If Uhuru Kenyatta stood in the way of they are trying to deliver for the people of Kenya, let them get Uhuru, dealt with, and the Kenyan people will support them 100%. Yeah.
But at some point back, I listened to the president saying that playing blame games and mentioning names of those who are there in the past regime will not actually help steer
But that's what they have been
economy
doing
to
since
the right
they took
direction.
over power.
That is what he's doing, actually.
They have done that since day one, since the day of swearing in, up to now. I've given them the example of this young Asian prime minister in UK, who was a Kenyan Kitale link. When he took over power as prime minister, he said, I am under no illusion. This country is in a mess. But I know it. I intend to fix the mess. I've never heard the young man speak anything about Tony Blair, about Boris Yeltsin, my Angela, nothing. Not whatever that other lady was called. No. He's just working for the British people. When Kibaki took over, the country was almost ravaged. He only mentioned it during swearing in, that I'm taking over a country ravaged by corruption, theft, and ineptitude. That was the last time we heard Kibaki talk about Moi and this person. He's set to work. I don't believe Kibaki did wonders the way people say. But I'm taking on the principle of Kibaki doing what he needed to do without reference to Moi. Even Kiraitu Murungi said, oh, Moi should just go home, watch, look after his goats and play with his grandchildren as he watches on TV how our country is run. That was the last time they said it. They never kept repeating it. So these ones are bankrupt. They don't know what they are doing, and they think excuses will help them. At the end of the day, I want to advise the President of the Republic of Kenya. The people of Kenya may be entertained by that. They may even believe you. But they will need food on the table. Excuses will not put food on the table. No. No.
So here we are definitely trailing the kind of relationship that the president had with the now president had with the former president back then. You saw what kind of stuff actually happened between them back then, and of course it was not actually good. But then we can see that trailing them behind, and of course the name of Uhuru Kenyatta has been on the mouth of every leader in government right now, and I wonder whether they'll succeed in using that name to escape some of these things. But then we've even seen that escalate to his own party, the Jubilee Party right now. A number of people believe that perhaps the government's hand is in whatever is taking place with the Jubilee Party right now. You've seen what is taking place therein. Of course, there are two different factions, one driving towards the government side, the other one still trying to remain with Uhuru Kenyatta, and to a larger extension the Azimio party coalition for that matter. So I'm looking at this and wondering now, do you think that perhaps this issue, or rather the problem that was therein, is perhaps what is still continuing, and that kind of bad blood that might have been back then would be responsible for what we are seeing, or for how the government is behaving right now, especially with regards to the relationship with the former president?
Of course, there must be something. But after I've said everything I've said and asked the government to leave Uhuru Kenyatta alone because this and the other, and the many reasons we have given, I'm left with something burning in my mind. Is there something we don't know? Could William Ruto be in danger from Uhuru Kenyatta? Is there a possibility that the Uhuru could occasion William Ruto harm? Politically, could Ruto's presidency be watching and fearing that there's something Uhuru can do? If there's nothing like that, then I don't understand why they keep bringing up Uhuru's name. Maybe there's something we don't know. Maybe Uhuru could have given them power, na mtego huko mbele, and they know it.
So you believe that there could be something with this kind of Uhuru Kenyatta obsession?
Yeah, there could be more than... Otherwise, the other option would be they played Raila so hard, they must keep playing the game. They must keep pretending they're at loggerhead.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I've tried to understand this thief with Uhuru Kenyatta. I've tried my best. I've gone beyond what I would normally do to understand a situation. I'm left wondering, is there something we don't know? Could the game between Uhuru and Ruto have been so high-tech that Raila has never believed it, and that must be sustained, the lie must be sustained through continuous reference to Uhuru and, and the apparent war between the two? Or could it be that they are aware Uhuru gave them power, but with a trap that they could fall into and lose power? Those are the only two I believe could explain. You can't explain things any other way. Why do you keep mentioning Uhuru Kenyatta? Yeah, those two. I will interrogate them in future.
And then you see where this is actually headed.
Yeah.
But then in the very meeting in Kakamega, definitely, he waded into the debate on some of the members of the other political parties, definitely Azimio, who went against their own party and voted for the finance bill. And of course, a number of them, some who even failed to turn up for that kind of occasion and know what happened therein. But then they were given some sort of letters and commissioned by the parties to explain the reason as to why they would go against the party policy, that is. And then the president was there saying that before you answer those letters that were written to you by the party, ask yourself, have you read the letters from the public here? So how is he playing his politics, in as much as people are saying that he's interfering with the activities of these other parties, but then making these other parties look like they're the ones who are now actually being on the wrong side?
Well, this is politics. Politicians play their politics in that manner, making the other fellow look bad. But even as me also, I don't know I don't understand why they should write anybody letters. No. You are playing into the hands of the other side because we are saying that's not how democracy works. Democracy works in such a way that you persuade your members of parliament to vote with you. But should they get to a point where they feel they must vote differently, the worst you can do is to de-whip them. Remove them from committees, that's all. Or reduce the number of committees they sit on.
Definitely.
Or remove them from chairing of committees and leave them members. That is done the world over. But it should not go beyond that. Our advisor is mere to know the whipping does not amount to disciplinary issues beyond parliament itself.
But that's not even Azimio on itself. In the other side, I saw Senator Aaron Cheriot actually say that those who went against the party, of course, that was only Wamuchomba who went against.
Every party, every period has its Nasir, Kariuki Chotara. They teach Kiki Amayos. So Aaron Cheriot, no, it's not Aaron Cheriot.
No.
Cherargei.
Yeah, Cherargei.
Cherargei is a latter-day Nasir.
Yes, Cherargei, that is the Nandi senator, yeah.
Yeah, it's a latter-day Chotara. For a young man like that who is my neighbor and my friend, I want to meet him. I'll tell Cherargei. You don't think even Ruto will respect you. He thinks he wants to earn the favor of Ruto. No, he will not respect you. Nobody respects a sycophant. They may not tell you because they need your support, but they don't respect you. In any case, some of the most vocal people in UDA lost their seats. He's lucky to have won because of the politics of Nandi. But if he continues like this, 2027 will mark the end of his political career. He's coming out very badly. No, Ruto doesn't need defense in that manner. No,
And of course,
speak like a man who's a young man who has a future, who has gone to school. Say we are persuading Mushomba to be with us, but should she decide, then that's okay. We are many enough.
and of course, the
We
president
will
has
be
not,
sad to lose that one vote.
the president has not gone for Wamuchomba. He
Yeah,
said he
why
has
do you
decided
think
to
you can?
defend the other
The president doesn't,
side.
and one day the president will tell him. I'm sure. I'm sure. One day in State House or somewhere, Arambia and Cherargei, you are going overboard.
Now, taking you back to this entire Uhuru Kenyatta Ruto feud debate, definitely, do you think that there is some sort of a deliberate plan to make Uhuru Kenyatta look so bad, and therefore would actually these people would succeed in de-whipping him from having any influence in Mount Kenya?
In fact, on the contrary, the more you hit at Uhuru Kenyatta, the more relevant he becomes. If you had left Uhuru Kenyatta, by now people would have forgotten him. Because Uhuru Kenyatta himself is not a very social person. He's not a person who goes where people are. So if you left Uhuru Kenyatta apanya mambo zake, starehe zake, na kutembea, he likes going out of the country, doing his own things, a bit of business here and there. Within 1 year, people will forget who Uhuru Kenyatta is. Yeah. Uhuru Kenyatta is not the sort of person who wants to dirty his hands. He's a prince.
Do you think dragging his name into this entire vicious cycle always will actually perhaps cost the government at some point?
That's why I'm saying I don't understand this game. Because a plain reading of the situation will tell you that people are reading into it. You are unable to deliver and you are using Uhuru as an excuse. Number two, the more you hit at Kenyatta, the more sympathy he gets. You yourself won the president courtesy of sympathy. You are forgetting so soon and extending the same sympathy to Uhuru Kenyatta. So, you must look for answers beyond that. And I'm beginning to interrogate other possibilities. Top on the list being Uhuru and the Ruto played Raila Odinga. And they must continue with the game. Alternatively, there is something they fear Uhuru could do to the government, which we don't know. But otherwise, these others, they don't make sense.
Is Uhuru Kenyatta a threat perhaps to the deputy
You
president?
may not know. He has been president for 10 years.
In as far as the influence of central Kenya politics is concerned, do you think that it could be perhaps some sort of a threat to the deputy president there?
You know, I've said this. Given the type of person Uhuru Kenyatta is, if you ignored him, he will just fizzle out.
And do you pay attention to him?
But if you chokora him, you bring him into the arena, he's getting out of the arena, he's gotten out. Ametoa uniform anaenda na unamrudisha anavaa uniform. You can't be thinking a lot.
And that is what he said at that time, that he thought he would retire and live peacefully, but now you people have brought him back.
Yes, which is true. And let me tell you this. The people of Mount Kenya, as a body, Uhuru Kenyatta is an important part of their soul. You can't wish him away. Part of the Kikuyu pride, part of being Kikuyu and being proud is Kenyatta. Kenyatta the man, Kenyatta the name. The Kikuyu cannot be proud of their history as the people who fought for this country and the people who have led this country without Kenyatta.
Definitely, you cannot
It's
write
part
their
and parcel
history
of what
without
defines
Kenyatta.
them. When people are proud to be Kenyans, it is never anything physical or anything tangible or anything beneficial. It's some kind of stupid pride association, usual of association. But if you ask people, why are you proud that you have a president you are challenging? Is there anything tangible they are getting? It's just that Kalenjin is our president.
Neither can you write the history of the Kikuyus without the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua.
No,
anyway.
Rigathi Gachagua is a small player. He's a footnote.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are still tracking down, and we are here on the ground. We are still looking at how these gentlemen are relating, and perhaps if the kind of approach that the president has taken of always having to mention the former president's name and dragging him into some sort of excuse, or rather the economic mess that the past regime actually performed, will perhaps help him get that sympathy from the people. But at the end of the day, we do hope and pray that the common man needs services rendered, and the common man actually needs the cost of living to come down to a manageable position, not excuses, because those ones cannot be put on the table and eaten as well. Till we have this conversation again, have yourself a lovely day. My name is Evans Okinyi.